Okay, is everybody all caught up on The Good Place? If not, why not? And if so, good, let's proceed. I'll try to say this delicately so that I don't give away any spoilers, but basically the narrative of the most recent season is shit's complicated. And it's not easy in this day and age to make a purely ethical decision without unintended side effects because so many things are all connected. You can't even ethically purchase a tomato without needing to think about the pesticides used, the farm employee's salary, their immigration status, the fossil fuels spent to get that tomato from the farm to your table. There's a lot going on. We see some of the same issues happening in science and technology. And one person who pushes these issues to the forefront more than any other is Elon Musk. Musk forces us, or me at least, to consider the problems we face when we give someone who ostensibly loves science a completely unlimited budget and zero oversight. And in a perfect dream world, this is the best possible thing to happen because a person like that can accomplish so much without worrying about red tape or budget cuts. But in the real world, we have to accept that we are then at that person's mercy because that person isn't worrying about ethical oversight or what that money could better go to. Elon Musk is the worst in many ways, and his fanboys are completely embarrassingly idiotic. They're like Joe Rogan fans who somehow think that they're even smarter. But at the same time, I do love the idea, the platonic ideal Elon Musk. I love the idea of shooting a shiny new car into space. I think it's hilarious. I do love the idea of getting bored, so I build a flamethrower. I love the ridiculousness of it all. And yes, that money could be better spent to help the poor, but I also could have spent the $10 I paid for that Pachimari nightlight. That could have gone to the poor too. Sometimes, it's worth doing stuff just because life is short and pointless. So when Elon Musk announced that he was going to make fast internet available for cheap to the farthest corners of the Earth using a network of 12,000 low Earth orbit satellites, I gotta say, I really like the idea. The internet at this point, I think, should be considered a basic human right. It could do so much good getting the internet to people in those far corners of the globe, to people globes can't have corners. Sorry. Getting the internet to people whose lives would be dramatically improved by having access to free resources like Wikipedia, or to people who currently have their internet blocked due to government censorship. Getting these people internet is a good ethical thing. So launching these satellites is the ethical thing to do, right? No, not really. Because again, it's 2019 and it's not that easy to make an ethical decision. Because launching 12,000 satellites into low Earth orbit is going to have unintended consequences. And those consequences are mostly going to affect how astronomers observe our sky. Many, many night sky observers are extremely concerned about these satellites. Preliminary video of them makes it clear that they will be visible, just like other satellites in that orbit are. Even in areas with very bad light pollution, you can see the satellites. It's hard to say how 12,000 of them are going to look once they're in place, as they will be moving higher than they're currently being observed at, which does make them further away from us, but it also will make them brighter due to the sun being more likely to reflect off of them. But also they'll be moving further apart from one another, which will make them dimmer, as several satellites won't glom together to the naked eye. The biggest problem is that Elon Musk and his fanboys are quick to act as though all of these astronomers are ridiculous to even be worried. Telling them that the satellites won't be visible when the stars are out, which astronomers point out is just a blatant lie. Say that they won't overwhelm the sky if you want. Say that they're not going to be a big deal, but don't claim that they're just going to disappear, because that's not going to happen. It's disturbing that Musk is so ignorant about this that he doesn't even understand why the ISS is visible in the night sky. He says it's because it has lights, but the artificial lights on the ISS aren't why we can see it from Earth. It's purely because of the amount of sunlight that it reflects, a problem that these satellites are also going to experience. How can someone be that ignorant about this topic and still be allowed to launch 12,000 satellites into orbit? Literally sextupling the number of functional objects that we're currently tracking in orbit around the Earth. The Starlink that Musk is planning absolutely will get in the way of observations that come from the Earth. And not just because they'll be visible to the naked eye, but due to radio astronomy. Radio astronomers point out that even if they are invisible, they are broadcasting on frequencies much too close to what they use to observe the universe, which includes things like looking at the afterglow of the Big Bang. This is really important research. Astronomer and lead scientist of the Royal Institution of Australia, Alan Duffy, told Science Alert, a full constellation of Starlink satellites will likely mean the end of Earth-based microwave radio telescopes able to scan the heavens for faint radio objects. That's a tremendous loss that can only be recovered by building a telescope outside of the net of these satellites. In other words, on the moon, the dark side of the moon. That's where we're going to have to build a telescope in order to continue the observations that are currently being done here on Earth. And how long is it going to take us to be able to do that? Cheap and easily accessible internet will be an absolute boon to humanity. And honestly, I suspect that it might actually be worth it, even at the cost of some astronomical observations. But we really need the people who are making that decision to truly understand what those costs are and not just pretend that they're getting this for free.